What's up? Welcome back. I'm John Stark from AcTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today we're going to talk about Peter Jujar's Day. Sorry if I mispronounced that name. I tried. I even used AI to get that. He says it once in the movie, but I have the memory of a goldfish. Where am I right now? I don't know where I am. I'm recording a video. It's a review of Peter Jujar's Day. I think I pronounced his name two different ways, just in case. We have Ben Whishaw and Rebecca Hall. This film is being released by Janus on November 7th, 2025. Janus doesn't usually mess with audio description, so I wasn't really expecting it here. They are a very small independent studio. Not that that's like a massive excuse, but there are bigger studios that I would like to get them to use audio description before I get my way down to Janus that put their films in wider releases and still don't use audio description. So Janus, I'm not expecting this to go super wide. You're pretty much going to have to live in a major city or catch this on video on demand. So what is this? It takes a look in 1974 at Peter Jujar on his day, his birthday. He's sitting down and talking to Rebecca Hall's character and just sort of musing about his life and his daily activities and the people that he's met and the opportunities that he's had. And it's really just like a conversation. It's two people having, it's very artsy in that it's not much happens here. There's only two people in the movie. It's basically a docudrama. It's a recounting of a conversation. And it's sort of like a highlight for Ben Whishaw. Not that Rebecca Hall here is bad. It's just the dialogue is not even. It's not like a Frost Nixon conversation. It very much leans in Peter's direction, which gives Ben Whishaw complete and total control over the film. It is him. This reminded me a lot of recently I've seen Blue Moon with Ethan Hawke. Like he is that movie. He's like 85% of the movie is Ethan Hawke. This is at least 3/4 of the movie is Ben Whishaw, if not more. I mean, Rebecca Hall only benefits from the fact that there literally is no one else in the movie. So she has nothing else to share the screen time with, but the dialogue is not leveled. This is not necessarily a bad thing because it is his day. So after all, we did show up for him and to hear his stories. And I'm unfamiliar with this iconic gay photographer and his work. Did not know. Photography is really not my thing. Not just because I'm blind, but just because even when I couldn't see paintings, art, photography, that kind of thing, everybody, I think, has things that they like and things that they are sort of indifferent to and things they don't like. I would say photography, painting, art, that kind of stuff is just, I'm indifferent to it. It's not like I don't like it. I can walk through and look at paintings and photos, and I just would choose not, I wouldn't actively choose to do it. So learning about who these photographers were that shot these amazing photos and knowing so much about individual artists and what led them to is not really my strong suit. But I do love Ben Whishaw, and I think he is he has sort of like a really lovely career that bounces around from role to role and gets him just enough critical acclaim that he's like dancing around the Oscars all the time. Like he hasn't landed the right role to get him in, but he continues to build that sort of good clout for him. I don't think this film does anything negative for him. It's just a very soft film that in a field full of wrecking ball broad performances that with bold personality types and big stars in these huge movies, Ben Whishaw starring in a independent film from Janus is just not going to register this Oscar season. Not through any fault of Ben's. It's just, this is pretty much limited to critics groups. It would be nice if you saw this somewhere at like obviously the Spirit Awards or Gotham Awards where they sometimes pick up these smaller films. Critics groups even tend to want to represent a little bit too much, like a look ahead at what the Oscars will be, almost like their precursor awards with very little deviations. So stepping out for a performance like Ben Whishaw on this over some of the other ones just feels tough. It's possible that GALECA, with the lean towards gay and lesbian centered films, would recognize him, but even in that, we've had a lot of other films this year, and this is still, like I said, it's a very quiet film. It's not one that is distinctly one that I will go on to remember for anything other than an excellent Ben Whishaw performance. I love Rebecca Hall, just separately as an actress, but I will not remember her performance in this. This is Ben Whishaw all the way, and kudos to the director for allowing Ben Whishaw to take the time to really just sort of sit in this performance and give this person the recognition. As far as like the lack of audio description, it's a conversation between two people, and it doesn't really go anywhere. It doesn't, like, they're not traveling through space and time. Like, it's, I would imagine they're probably just sitting in a room. I saw a film last year with Tessa Thompson. I believe it was Tessa. If it's not, I'm sorry. I apologize. But where she was just like, she was like a crisis phone operator, and it's her just sitting there, and every other person that is in that film is on the phone. So it's just her. And I was not bothered by the fact there was an audio description for it, because it's like, she's just talking to people on the phone. I mean, I could hold my ground and say, by God, and yes, I do believe audio description should be on everything, but there are much more necessary works that still don't have audio description. So this was like downstream from that. This is not something that I immediately think of like, oh my God, this must have audio description and accessibility. There are other films that I've seen this year that didn't have it, that make way less sense than this. I think you'll be able to follow it. So this wasn't a hard film for me to try to decipher what my grade was, because it is exactly sort of as advertised, and it's where would I, we're in award season, where would I consider it Ben Whishaw? I'm sorry, but it just, like, it's not that it has bad direction or a bad screenplay, but it is just a conversation, and it's based on real people. And the direction is just capturing these two people on screen without any sort of like rise in intensity. It's not like you're capturing two people in like a hostage negotiation where there's a lot of like rise in tension. It is kind of flat. It doesn't really have a climax to it. I think for some people who are looking for things that go boom, this could bore them, but it didn't bore me. I like acting. You'll routinely, if you subscribe, which you should, because I love you. I didn't know if you knew that or not, but have I told you lately? Yeah, it's, I like actors. I like performances. I like revisiting films where I'm like, well, the movie was okay, but that performance, though. And I think this is one of Ben Wishaw's strongest performances. I think he really delivers here. Unfortunately, he delivers in a film that is like, it's like a cute kitten walking into a lion's den. You know what I'm saying? Like Janus versus the multi-million-dollar campaigns that the other films are going to have. Good luck. The poor little kitten versus the lions and tigers and bears, oh my. It just isn't really going to translate. But I did think this was fascinating, and now I know who Peter Jujar is, and don't really know how to pronounce his name, but just at some point maybe. This is a nice little. I almost want to call this like the equivalent of a bottle episode. It feels like it's so contained that if this was like an episode on television, it's just two people talking. But then again, we had entire shows like in Treatment where it was basically that. So um, I don't know if this is not going to be for everybody, because again, I know people, they need things that go boom. They need their 3-act structures. They need like that inciting incident, the rise and fall, the climax. They need all that stuff. This doesn't really have, this is not that. This is very indie. This is very artsy. It's just sitting down and listening to Ben Whishaw talk and portray this person. And what I like about it is advertising itself as it's not advertising trying to pretend that this is like real life. Like last year I had that My Name is Alfred Hitchcock thing, which was trying to like ruminate on what if Alfred Hitchcock had thoughts about his films. And I just thought that the weird blurring between documentary and fiction just didn't work for that. And it doesn't even allow for the person pretending to be Hitchcock to have a performance, because you're like supposed to believe that it's him. Here, there's no sheen that's over Ben Whishaw that makes you believe that it's not Ben Whishaw. It's Ben Whishaw. So kudos to Ben. I don't know if he's going to be on my top, but I'll keep him around when I'm thinking about my list this year. Like I said, it's just a quiet performance, but that's just one more check mark next to Ben for the eventual, and the nominees are, when he does get his nomination someday, which I think he will, because he tends to choose smart projects. If you haven't seen Black Doves, he's fantastic on Black Doves with Keira Knightley. So, which got picked up for a second season. Anyway, I know I'm not talking about Rebecca Hall. I do love her. She just really is here to support him. If you see it, you'll know. She's fine here. It's good, but it's night and day. Like the cast of Blue Moon was for Ethan Hawke. Like, it's really hard to try to be like, oh, well, Margaret Qualley's performance is, she doesn't really, it's all Ethan Hawke. Yeah. So, I'm going to give Peter Jujar's Day, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I like the film. I don't love the film. It's not going to be in my top of the year, but I'm glad I took this stroll down this lane, and I think it's an interesting film. And I think for people who think that this is their thing, they'll know it, and they'll go and they'll check this out. And that's what Janus does, is it finds the right films, and it knows how to get them to their audiences. So I appreciate that. I probably will give him extra consideration when thinking about the Dorian Awards. So I still don't know. There are still plenty of films. I'm seeing this in October ahead of its release in November. So I've got like 2 more months of films. I don't know what I'm doing. So I make no promises. But thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I'll see you guys on the other side.